Wolverine was real. Yeah, there was literally a real warrior that had knives for hands. And I couldn't believe this either because this is literally too badass to be true. But again, the story is real. This dude was real. A man with knives for hands, and his name was Galvarino. The year was 1557, and our Native American Wolverine was fighting for the Mapuche tribe against the Spanish invaders. But back then, Galvarino was more Logan than Wolverine. No, wait, that actually doesn't make any sense because Logan already had claws. Wolverine was just adamant. The point is, back then, Galvarino just didn't have knives as hands yet. That would come later. Back then, Galvarino was just a super ridiculously brave and strong warrior who fought with the Mapuche against the Spanish with guerrilla tactics that were wild, with Galvarino racking up a crazy Latino body count. In a different context, that's an entirely different statement. But despite their guerrilla tactics, eventually the Spanish and their armor and guns overwhelmed the Mapuche, and they meant to make an example out of Galvarino because he was such a capable warrior. So they chopped his hand off. Thing is, this guy didn't flinch. I repeat, Galvarino had his hand chopped off and did not flinch. Instead, Galvarino put his other hand on the chopping block and was like, "What?" I actually didn't say anything. He just put the other hand on the chopping block and didn't even say a word. So they chopped his other hand off, and again, no flinching. Instead, Galvarino then simply put his head on the block, and the Spanish were not about to turn this guy into some kind of legend. So instead of killing him, they sent him back without hands to serve as an example to scare the other Mapuche out of their fighting spirit. Big mistake by the Spanish, because as soon as Galvarino got home, he strapped knives to his fresh wounds, and on November 30th, 1557, he rallied the remaining 3,000 men of his tribe to ambush the 1,500 remaining Spanish in their camp, and they got crushed by the Spanish. Absolutely, yeah. Like the Spanish had cannons, and Galvarino and the gang kind of just ran into cannon fire, and they all either died or got captured, and not a single Spanish died in that attack. This is unfortunate because, come on, how legendary. That's a moral victory if I've ever seen one. He strapped knives to his hands and led his army into battle. Like, what? Even the Spanish respected Galvarino so much that they captured him again and asked him to fight for their side. Like, as if the dude who strapped knives to his hands just to keep on fighting would join you genocidal, conquering, self-entitled maniac invaders. Galvarino said he'd fight them with his teeth if he had to. And so finally, I mean, they killed him. What are they going to do at this point? Send him back? I mean, this dude is going to come back with his teeth or something. So no, they killed him. And this was the end of it. But after Galvarino's death, the Mapuche kept on opposing the conquerors, and they were one of the few tribes that was never conquered by the Spanish invaders. And I think we can kind of draw that up to the spirit and bravery of Galvarino, the real-life Wolverine. Pretty cool.